Greetings to folks, and welcome to our community conversation for February the 17th of 2021. I am Pastor Park Hunter. I am the Interfaith Leaders Coalition coordinator, and we host these community conversations along with English Lutheran Church. And I'll allow Pastor Glenn from English to say hi.
I'm Pastor Glenn Bickford. I'm the interim pastor here. I've been here about 6 months. I don't know how much longer it's going to be, but I'm hoping that I'll have an opportunity later on to host these community conversations in person, so I'll actually be able to talk with people one-on-one.
Yep, we all look forward to that face-to-face time again in the future, but we're grateful that we can do this in the meantime. Interfaith Leaders Coalition has intended these community conversations to be a chance for us to hear from leaders in our community about topics of interest to our community, often related to faith as well, and also for us as the community to have a chance to ask questions and have that conversation. Since we are today meeting on Zoom and most of you are watching it on the YouTube live stream, I invite you, if you're on YouTube and you have a Gmail or Google user account, you can get into the chat and you can post questions there. And later during our program today, I will be sharing those questions with our leaders. We did have a topic change. Today, instead of our originally planned topic, we're pleased to welcome the Lacrosse Interfaith Shoulder to Shoulder Network for a conversation that we're calling Conversations with Our Muslim Neighbors. And this ties into some events that they've got going on this week. For those of you who like to look ahead, next month on March the 17th, our topic is called What We've Learned, and we'll be meeting with 3 of our area school superintendents from La Crosse School District, the Onalaska School District, and Aquinas to hear about how the pandemic has shaped the way they provide education and services to our community. And we're really looking forward to that as well. Before we begin today's conversation, I'm going to invite Pastor Annalisa Hunter from Bridges United Methodist Church to offer a prayer.
Thank you. I am blessed with this opportunity to be able to be with this group today. Let us pray together. Holy and loving God, we have gathered today to seek the justice you desire for your people. In your divine creativity, you designed each of us differently to bring different gifts and skills, hope and dreams to strengthen our community. We are sorry that our differences of economics and education, faith and national origin, gender and race often make us feel fear and anger instead of joy and compassion. Today, embolden us in hope and action to see our neighbors as your creation and find ways to celebrate our differences as strengths and to pursue justice and mercy for each of our neighbors. Please accept our prayers today as a community of faith. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Well, as I said, our topic today is conversations with our Muslim neighbors. And to that end, I'm going to welcome the leaders of the Lacrosse Interfaith Shoulder to Shoulder Network. And I'm going to ask Diana Diaz-Granados to introduce you and your team.
Thank you, Park. Thank you for inviting us to be with you today. I'm Diana Diaz-Granados. I wear many hats and work on a variety of projects, but something that is very near and dear to my heart is being a co-leader and member of the Lacrosse Interfaith Shoulder to Shoulder Network. So thank you for having us. I'll pass it on to Kent.
I'm Kent Johnson, one of the pastors at Prince of Peace Lutheran Church in La Crescent, Minnesota, and my wife and I have been in La Crosse here for 21 years now, so enjoy living in the community. Dawood? You're muted, Dawood.
Yes. Hi, my name is Dawood Jandal. My wife and I have been living in this community for the last 28 years. It's our second home and actually becoming the first home. We have 4 children. I work at a train company, and we enjoy living here, and we're gonna be living here for a long time. Wahab?
Peace be upon you all, and blessed Ash Wednesday to all. Okay, my name is Wahab Khandakan, and I am in this community as a Muslim American for the last 39 years. Actually, I'm in the United States for the last 44 years. So I used to teach over here at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse in the Department of Economics in the College of Business for the last 37 years. I have taught about 10,000 students, and now this May I retired from my position as professor of the Department of Economics, and now I'm spending time with my grandkids.
Wonderful, thank you. Actually, I'm the newbie of the group that I've only lived in La Crosse since 2009. So I moved here with my husband and 2 children. And we'll talk about a little bit later how all of our lives intersected in different ways. But Park, I invite you to share, we're going to be sharing a TED Talk that one of the founders of the La Crosse Interfaith Shoulder to Shoulder Network had the opportunity, was invited to do a TED Talk. And as you all know, having an actual TED Talk is a big deal. And we're excited that in his TED Talk, he talks about how we eradicate hate, how it takes a whole community. And he talks about how this group actually started. So we wanted to start this conversation with watching that, and then we'll discuss it on the back end. Thank you. Thank you for letting us share that. As you see, we're very proud of Wale. Wale lived in La Crosse for many years and only recently moved to Rochester. But that TED stage is a very big stage. I think his talk, maybe, and I've heard it now many times, but it immediately transports, it may have transported you to where you were on September 11th, 2001. It certainly did for me, as I was on a plane heading towards the United States, pregnant with my first child, having just finished a job, a position that I had responding to Islamophobia, but actually I've been working in Kosovo, and I've been working with ethnic Albanians or Muslim in how to rebuild the country that had been destroyed. But as Wale pointed out, he sets up why and how Listen was started. I think our purpose today is to share with you, some of our friendship and relationships, and then towards the end give you some opportunities to learn more about Islamophobia, to get involved in some of our events. We'll ask you to follow us on Facebook, and to be open to learn. So we have a few questions that we're going to kind of just have a conversation, and then we look forward to receiving questions from the audience. And so our first question that we're going to talk about is, what did the creation of Listen mean to you? I see that Wahab is unmuted already.
No, actually, I thought that Dawood is going to talk about it first.
Oh, okay. Dawood.
Sure. It's funny, Diana, I didn't know that you were on a plane on September 11 because I was on a plane from Milan, Italy to Chicago when they diverted us to Canada, to Nova Scotia, and the Canadians were very welcoming. We stayed there in a gym for 3-4 days, and then we came back home. As I said, I've been living in La Crosse for 28 years. La Crosse is home for us, for my children, all my 4 children born in La Crosse, born and raised in La Crosse. There is no way you could say there is no discrimination. But nevertheless, La Crosse was very hospitable to me and my family and my wife. We enjoyed living here, and also can't say things has not changed since September 11. And we can talk about that for a long time, but after September 11, overnight, things has changed. So I used to work with people for the last 8-9 years, people across from me. I mean, in our company, it's like just a desk next to a desk, cubicles. And you look at that person face for like 9 years, and you feel like he's or she are a brother or sister to you because you just work 8 hours, 5 days a week. And what was kind of amazing to me, how could like you, my brother, quote, quote, think of me different just because something happened, and I had nothing to do with it, and if anything, it was more hateful to me than it hurt more because it's like it's made my religion been looking bad and showed as the opposite what Islam is. So anyway, but things has improved since then, and life start coming back to normal. And then the elections of 2016, or to get 2016, and the media and the idea of hatred and discrimination, and they are brown and we are white, and they are not Christian, they're different, start coming together, and that's kind of agitated the racism idea in the United States, even here in peaceful La Crosse. So we got together and we started talking about it. And the neat thing is we never like thought we're gonna do it. It's just we start talking to each other. A friend talking to a friend. I talked to Ken talked to Diana, basically Wahab. We somehow, without really making a decision that we want to make a group or a community or a network, we just start talking to each other, and then somehow we just said, let's just do something. And that's how Shoulder to Shoulder started. Wahab?
Okay, I just wanted to go a little bit further, that when I came in United States in 1977 for my higher education, for my doctorate degree. Just like my father came to this country sometimes in the early 50s. So, but I cannot remember that, but I know that when he came back to, I'm originally from Bangladesh. So he came back in 1956, because I can remember that is the year one of my brother was born, and he was born in 9/11. So that is interesting. So 1956, at that time, after he completed his degree in University of Illinois, Carbondale, Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. His degree was in mathematics, so he was offered immediate and immigration, and he decided not to take it. Later, I found that it may be because of McCarthyism was very prominent at that time, and also his he had a card which is called temporary white card, so that he can go and drink from the fountain and go to white bathrooms. So this is what all I heard at that time. So I had no intention of coming to this country after 21 years, staying in this country. Absolutely, just for my degrees, I came over here. But things have changed, because after I just got my degree, it wasn't 1955, 51, 52 America. It is 1977 America. It was much better at that time. So what happened is I finished my doctorate and got a job in Wabash College, Indiana in 1980. And immediately the college said that, well, yeah, we are going to get you an immigration. And I just went to the immigration's office, and then this immigration person, he told me that, well, we want people, skilled people like you. Here is your immigration card. So he gave me immigration right on the spot. And I was so flattered, and he said that my professor was an Indian professor and he was so good. And I really appreciate that. So that changed completely the picture of United States. And after that, I thought that what a wonderful place to pursue my dream and stay over here. My daughter was born, and then at that time. So I decided, well, this is a wonderful country, to pursue your dreams and happiness. And well, I decided to stay and continue, staying over here. And when I came to La Crosse in 1983, at that time, well, there was racism over there, but not against us. It was mainly against possibly Black Americans. And it's very difficult to tell that we are Muslims. Just by looking at it, we are exactly identical with everything, our mentality and everything we are. So, I didn't face anything. Like, I was treating my colleagues in the department as my family, because my family is just on the other side of the globe. So right now it is, for example, 12:29. It is 12:29 in Bangladesh at night. So so my department colleagues were my family. Well, that was the case. So far, it was a wonderful dream, life. But then, 9/11 came. At that time, things changed. I was just getting ready to go to the department at that time. I saw this attack on the airplane. I said, what's happening? Is it an accident? Is it a mechanical failure or something like that? And then I became outraged that, well, yes, it is a terrorist attack. And it was terrible for all of us. And then I just slipped the channel, and the channel says Islamic terrorism, Muslim terrorism, jihadists, attacked our country and things like that, and let us bomb Makkah. So that kind of things, that really shocked me at that time. So what is happening to this country? So as Wale said, that yes, that is the time we found that somebody has already, external terrorists hijacked my religion at that time. And we didn't know what to do. I was talking to my wife. My wife was also teaching at the UWL, the same department, economics. And we were thinking, should we go to the department today or not? So we were debating. But since we had the class, we didn't have that much of choice. So we, eventually went to the department very, fearful. And I don't know what will be the repercussions. And to our surprise, all of our colleagues, I'm getting emotional, all of my colleagues, they just came to me and to my wife, and they hugged. They didn't say anything, just hugged and said, well, yes, we understand, your feelings. So that's such a wonderful feeling that I know that, well, this is my family. Then what happens? I think it's on the same next day or day after, I got a call from Bishop Larson at that time. Bishop Larson was the Evangelical Luther Church bishop. So she called me and she told me that, well, look, I didn't know that we do have Muslims in this area. I had no clue. But since I just got you over here, that is fine. She got the information from the university because I was the faculty advisor to the Muslim students over there. So she called, and then she said that, well, I know that, well, we cannot do very many things about it, but if you need a shoulder to cry, just reach us. Such a wonderful approach. It was very touchy. Absolutely. Obviously, I just got another call from Ron Kind, and he came there. So that's a different, another story. But I was just mainly talking about this April Larson, who immediately called a few people, and then we met in Ember's restaurant. I'm not sure whether you are familiar with Ember's restaurant. It was up to I think 2004. It closed down, and right now, in that place we do have this the Walgreen, right now. So we met in Ember restaurant. 8 of us, 8 of us, 6 Christians and 2 Muslims. I think Dawood was there too. So she started something called Cooley Region Interfaith Coalition Group at that time. And that came, similar to Listen. And that came into being in 3rd day of February 2004. And then signatories were, obviously, Bishop April Larson, but together with that, Archbishop Raymond Burke, who was the bishop, former bishop. So he was the signatory. His signature is still on that document. And also from Unalaska United Methodist Church, Bruce Bartle was there at that time. So he signed that one document too. So there were, 12 people who signed that document. And this is similar to what Listens, what we have started doing. That organization was really helpful for our, our safety as well as understanding as well as peace of mind. So that was very, lacking at that time, peace of mind, because every time we are hearing the mosques are being bombed and things like that, and harassed and killed, Muslims are harassed and killed and things like that. So it was very, fearful time. And this group gave us a huge amount of support and protection. But eventually what happened, April Larson retired, and also 2 other very important prominent person. One is Jude Weisenbach, Father Jude Weisenbach, and also Sister Marlene Weisenbach. They were very, supportive of the whole thing. And we were really grateful. But after they retired, the whole thing died. Well, Islamophobia started, growing threefold, but we didn't feel that one in La Crosse till the other government. Nowadays, Joe Biden is talking about the previous government. So previous government started demonizing the Muslims. Something like, we don't know, the Islam is not compatible to American culture, or that, banning Muslims, and the Muslims were dancing when 2001 attack, on that. So all these things make things so much worse that I have started feeling heat in this place, in La Crosse. And that was pretty bad. And I heard that La Crosse Justice, Peace and La Crosse Interfaith Peace and Justice Coalition, they were just looking for some people. And then we got together, and all the stories at that time. I also met, I think, the first meeting of your group, Park, this Interfaith Coalition. I just went over there to get some kind of support from the community. And God bless us all the time with your support and, company.
I'd like to allow Kent also to share and maybe share some of the activities that we've been able to do to kind of to share that support.
Yeah.
So Kat, maybe could you comment on some of the celebrations or activities that have been very meaningful to you?
Sure, and you can mute me after a minute here. Keep me short. But no, it was 5 years ago that Vince Hatt and the Spirituality Center opened their doors to give us a place to start meeting, and that, you know, what did that mean to me? To sit at a table with 7 Muslim colleagues and 7 interfaith leaders from our community and begin to listen and to hear, and that followed on the, you know, important conversation that was initiated by Congressman Kind in December of 2015 to visit the mosque and to ask for concerns. And Daoud had reached out to myself and to Bishop Jim Aarons from our La Crosse Area Synod to come and attend and listen. And we wanted a place to gather. What do you do next? How do we show our support and encouragement and begin to share shoulder to shoulder? And so, you know, some of the first things we did was neighbors in action day, you know, that fall or spring cleanup. And we went out and raked yards and just built friendships as we were getting blisters on our hands, or I was drinking coffee while they were getting blisters on their hands. I don't know, but it was fun. And then shortly after that, Wahab and his wife were going to attend a national conference in Chicago and invited Vince and I to go along, Vince Hatt and I to go, and the hospitality and the welcome and the learning that happened in Chicago with 20,000 other Muslims was just a tremendous gift. But, you know, over the years, the Eid celebrations where the hospitality of the Muslim community invited us in to celebrate the end of Ramadan and to feast together have been wonderful opportunities to deepen our friendship and love for one another and enjoy the food. And you know, even there, when you ask about Ash Wednesday and the beginning of Lent and our fasting, I've been so inspired by what I've learned fasting with my Muslim friends on occasion in 2 different Ramadan time periods because of the depth of faith and the commitment to that practice that we do share together. So, you know, the opportunity to gather and to build friendships and to just serve one another has really been a gift when this group shoulder to shoulder formed. But Diana, tell me, you know, tell us why you got started with Listen.
I actually got involved with Listen because of community conversations that 4 years ago, almost to the day or to the month, you hosted a conversation. My neighbor is a Muslim, and Wale from the TED Talk presented, and it was at the previous. You know, it was announced that this was going to happen, and I emailed Pastor Mark Solist and said, "Hey, I just moved to La Crosse or moved back to La Crosse, and all from Bangladesh, and all my neighbors were Muslim. And if there's anything that I can share to dispel the myths and that were swirling around at that time at 2016, I think with Daoud, I share that, you know, I moved back. We had been living in Bangladesh for 4 years. Previously, we had lived there before also, so a total of 8 years. And I moved back to La Crosse with a middle schooler and a high schooler who had just, you know, lived in a Muslim country for 4 years and they had Muslim friends, and they were shocked and upset by the rhetoric, the anti-Muslim rhetoric that was that was in the media at the time. And Daoud, you've had high schoolers. You had a high schooler that graduated the same year my son. Do you want to share some of those the misconceptions, the microaggressions that people don't recognize that the intent? I think, Daoud, you said, you know, someone says something to you in jest, it's hurtful, and so being able to kind of share and build relationships and look for ways to grow awareness of how similar our religions actually are was really important.
Yes. So I have 4 boys. 3 of them are adults. 1 is still in the middle school. What I would like to share is like my son Ahmad. he's a student at Georgetown, but this semester and last semester they're working online, so he's here with us. And the funny thing is that Diana was asking me, emailing me, asking me what do you want to talk about in this meeting today, the conversation. So I kind of thought about it a little bit. Then I wrote an email, and he's my like editor. He'll check my spelling. He checks my my grammar. So I gave him my laptop, and I told him, look at this before I send it to Diane. So he looked at it, fixed a few things, and he said, Dad, you are using strong language. And basically, I didn't thought I was. Actually, I was not. I was saying, you know, talking about the cup half full, half empty, and why America, half of America don't like, or it seems like half of America don't like Muslims. They don't like African Americans. They don't like Hispanic. They don't like Asian. So anyway, but so he said, why you're using and he said, I soften it a little bit. So I said, okay, I read it, looked fine. I sent it to Diana. But then that got me to think, like, this kid is born and raised in La Crosse. He like lived all his life in South La Crosse. I mean, he went to Hinchin School, he went to Longfellow, he went to Central High School. He's in Georgetown now. So I mean, and I felt like I'm just saying normal language, and this kind of adult now, I mean, if I was born and raised, and because I was not born and raised, but I've been here for 35 plus years, he thinks this language is strong. Then I kind of think, come on, I mean, something is wrong here. If anything, she should have said the language is not strong, actually weak, because how could America be half of it? It seems to be against Muslims, or not welcoming to Muslim, well, not welcoming to African Americans, not welcoming to Hispanic, not welcoming to Asian. So anyway, so actually it's 2021 today, and we're still having these discussions, even with the first and second generation of Muslims or Asian or Hispanic. So maybe this is the opportunity to talk about it. What's in it for to be a Muslim? It's to be a Muslim, it's anti-American or anti-Christian, or to be good to your family, or to be good to your neighbors, regardless who's your neighbors, Hispanic, Asian American, or Muslim. He had to submit a report, and it looks like he did it. Project. Yeah, he did it. So he's joining us.
He's here to speak on his
own.
He
needed to fix his hair too. So anyway, just
welcome, Ahmad.
Thank you.
So it sounds like uncomfortable conversations are. It sounds like you were having a discussion about, the uncomfortable conversation of talking about, discrimination, and the discrimination that you have felt as Muslims, that we might feel as people of color, and that's important. And I think that's part of what's been important about these community conversations, is bringing different ideas to the table, discussing them. We'll share, how to opportunities to learn more about the impact of Islamophobia and where it's rooted. It's rooted in misinformation. It's a billion-dollar industry. We have a great speaker that will be live on our Facebook page tomorrow night. So we'll share that. But Kat, did you have something to add?
I think what we need to do, we have some questions that we want to have from the community conversation audience, and we hopefully, Park, if there's a question that maybe could be addressed to Ahmed as the newest member to join the conversation, welcome Ahmed, but is there a question that you can start us with, Park, and then we can have Ahmed respond, or?
Sure. And again, thank you to all of you. This has been a wonderful topic so far. It's good to hear from you. And Ahmed, welcome. As your father was talking about, the experiences of different people vary depending on, where you were raised and what community you grew up in, etc. Having grown up in the La Crosse area and gone through the school districts here, what were your experiences? What did you encounter on a day-to-day basis?
So first of all, thank you guys for having this conversation. I think it's very important, and I don't think it happens enough, especially in maybe smaller communities. So this is really, really great. My experience in the La Crosse community has been positive, very, very, very positive. And after going to school with people like me, Muslim Americans, I think I have some of the most positive experiences out of all of them. But that's not to say there's everything's perfect, but it's just that as a community, we've done a lot. And I think this is this group is part of the reason why, but we've done a lot to educate people and kind of show people that we're not different, that we're the same people. We might have a different religion, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not really something we should think about or differentiate between each other. So I really didn't face a lot of discrimination growing up at all. Actually, I felt like people wanted to support me, knowing, what other people like me have experienced. There was a lot of people that wanted to support me. And then, again, like I said, I wasn't perfect. I had some people say things, like as a kid, bully me, microaggressions, all this stuff. But those were overshadowed by the good. And particularly, I think those microaggressions weren't they weren't original thoughts. They were just kind of discussing these topics without knowing someone that was a part of the Muslim community. Yeah.
Thank you. We've had a couple of other posts from community members thanking us for having this conversation. The Franciscan sisters popped in to share that they have been supporters of Listen since the beginning. You guys, this is 5 years for you guys, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Kathy asks, we'll have a new mayor and city council soon. So what, if any, city policies or initiatives would improve things in our city from your perspective?
I'll just briefly say that in the